Hello students, welcome to psychology class. Dear students, let me ask you a question. Which organism was responsible for building structure like Taj Mahal, which is one of the wonders of the world? Yes, you all know the answer. It is human being. Human beings have made achievements in various fields like art, in the field of science, technology, and so on. The reason behind all these achievements is his intelligence. So today, let us understand the concept of intelligence. We all know this concept of intelligence. We use it in day-to-day life. We usually classify people as brainy, sharp, dull, or slow based on their intellectual ability. So can we see intelligence? No, we cannot see it. We cannot hear it, or we cannot sense through any of the sense organs. So how to measure intelligence? It is an abstract concept. In today's session, let us understand what intelligence is. Can we measure intelligence? It's an abstract concept, so how can we measure? Let us try to understand this. Is there only one type of intelligence or many? Is intelligence influenced by heredity or environment? So let us try to understand or find answer to all these questions. Let us move on to the meaning and definition of intelligence. Oxford Dictionary defines intelligence as the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. It is your ability to acquire knowledge, ability to acquire your skills, and once you acquire it, you apply it. That is intelligence. According to Binet and Simon, these are the ones who developed the first intelligence scale in 1905. According to him, intelligence is the ability to judge well, to understand well, and to reason well. To judge well means to give your opinion, to say what is right or wrong. To understand well and to reason well. Reason well, to think logically. It's the ability of all these things. Next definition was given by another psychologist, Mann. He says, intelligence is a capacity for flexible adjustment. Flexible adjustment means you are able to make any adjustment easily to any of the situations. And the very popular definition is given by Wechsler, which is very important for 2 marks. It says, according to Wechsler, intelligence is the aggregate or the global capacity of an individual to act purposefully, to think rationally, and to deal effectively with the environment. What do you mean by all these things? It is the overall capacity of an individual to behave intentionally, think logically, and to deal with the environment, to deal with any of the situation successfully. That is what intelligence is. So through all these concepts, from all these definitions, we can understand that intelligence is the ability to understand complex ideas, to adjust effectively to the environment, to engage in various types of reasoning, to learn from experience, to remove any obstacle. If something is blocking our progress, to remove that obstacle easily with careful thinking is intelligence. So let us move on to the next concept, theories of intelligence. Many psychologists have given different theories of intelligence. This year, we will be learning 3 theories of intelligence, which can be asked for, each of the theory can be asked for 5 marks. The first theory is two-factor theory. Two-factor theory, here you have two factors. Okay? This theory is given by Charles Spearman. It was proposed in 1927. He was a British psychologist. He says, intelligence consists of two factors, that is G factor and S factor. G factor is a common factor, or it is a general factor which is common to all cognitive tasks. S factor is a specific factor which is related to specific tasks. For example, all the international cricket players, they may be high on general factor, but players like Sachin Tendulkar, he has a special ability because of which he has excelled in his field. So for example, another example is, maybe you are good in music, or maybe you are good in dancing, or another person good in spatial ability. And here, general factor is common for all these things. And you are excelled in your music, that is because of your special ability in music. And you are excelled in dance, that is because of your specific ability in dance. So here, G factor is common for all these cognitive ability. You may have S1, S2, S3. G is common here. This is the theory of two-factor given by Charles Spearman. You can give more examples here so that you can write a 5-mark answer. Next theory is theory of primary mental ability. This is given by Louis Thurston. He was an American psychologist. According to him, intelligence consists of 7 primary mental abilities. And these mental abilities are independent of each other. Let us see what are these 7 primary mental abilities. First one is verbal comprehension. Verbal comprehension is understanding the meaning of the words, concepts and ideas. For example, vocabulary test and reading comprehension measure or verbal comprehension. For example, you are given some words and you have to tell the meaning of those words, that is vocabulary test. Or you are given a passage and you have to answer the questions related to the passage, which tells you whether you have verbal comprehension. Second one is word fluency. It is the ability to produce the words fluently and flexibly. For example, you are given a word and you have to produce the rhyming word. For example, call, ball. That way, you have to produce rhyming words as fluently as possible. Or you are given a particular letter and you have to start giving the letters from that letter. For example, apple, starting with A, letter A, apple, attitude, and so on. So this will tell you your word fluency. Next one is numerical ability. It is the ability to work with numbers and to do complex computational tasks, ability to do work with numbers. Next is spatial ability. It's the ability to visualize space-form relationship. In the sense, recognizing the same figure in different orientation. The same figure is given in different angle or in different position, whether you are able to identify it. If yes, you have spatial ability. Next one is memory. This is the ability to recall information accurately. That's memory. Next one is perceptual speed. It is the ability to perceive the details. For example, you are given 2 pictures and you have to identify the similarities and differences between these 2 pictures. How accurately you reproduce, see the difference. Next is reasoning. It is the ability to find a general rule from presented facts. For example, you are given a number series 2, 4, 6. What is the next number? The next number is 8. That is, here the general rule is it is a multiples of 2 or even numbers. So it's the ability to find a general rule, that is reasoning. Okay, next let us move on to the next topic. Triarchic theory. This question can be asked for 5 marks. This theory is given by Robert Sternberg. He was an American psychologist. He proposed this theory in 1985. According to Robert Sternberg, intelligence is the mental ability to adapt, to shape, and to select environment to accomplish one's goal and those of one's society and culture. That means it is your ability to, let us understand this with an example. Say for example, you have a boss, you have a job where your boss is making unreasonable demands. So adapting to the environment is you adjust to the demands of the boss and then you adjust and continue with the job. That is adapting. To shape the environment, you try to change the attitude of your boss. That is shaping the environment. And to select an environment, if you're not able to adapt, if you're not able to shape, then you select a different environment. That means you quit that job or you leave that job and join some other job. That's an example. According to Robert Sternberg, intelligence consists of 3 types. There are 3 types of intelligence. First one is componential or analytical intelligence. Now, what is this componential intelligence? This is the ability to think analytically and critically. These people who are high on this type of intelligence, they do well in academics. This intelligence has 3 components: knowledge acquisition components, planning, that is metacognition, and performing. Knowledge acquisition, you have a task. You see what are the different ways of doing things, that is acquiring knowledge. Once you acquire knowledge, second is you plan. Planning is what to do and how to do. Once the plan is ready, the next step is performing. You actually do things. So people who are high on this intelligence are good at knowledge acquisition, planning, and performing. Second type of intelligence given by Robert Sternberg is experiential or creative intelligence. This emphasizes on insight and creativity. They use past experience creatively to solve new problems. This type of intelligence is seen in those people who make discoveries and inventions. For example, scientists like Einstein, Galileo, all these scientists have made amazing discoveries, and they were high on experiential intelligence. Next is contextual or practical intelligence. Those people who have this type of intelligence, they can adjust to any type of environment effectively. Any type of problems they encounter in their daily life, they can adjust to it very effectively. They are more practical. They are called street smarts. They are adaptable to any environment. They have a lot of common sense. So they turn out to be successful in life. So these are the 3 types of intelligence given by Robert Sternberg. This question can also be asked for 5 marks. Next, we have growth of intelligence. Growth of intelligence can also be asked for 5 marks. So according to the study done by Terman and Merrill, they were American psychologists. According to them, intelligence grows rapidly from birth to 12 years of age. From birth to 12 years, it is very fast. After 12 years onwards, it is slow paced means it moves at a slow rate, that is still 16 years of age. Then at the age of 16, it reaches its peak, that is the highest level you can get. After that, the intelligence is more or less same. The people who are talented, who are creative, and those who are high on divergent thinking, their intelligence, their intelligence reaches its peak at the age of 18, according to Terman and Merrill. There's one more person, Freeman and Foray. They say intelligence reaches its peak at the age of 20 years. So, whenever we compute or whenever we calculate the IQ of a person whose chronological age is above 16, chronological age is your actual age or your biological age, your age. If it is more than 16, we take it as 16 itself, because intelligence reaches its peak at the age of 16, according to Terman and Merrill. I'll be explaining to you in detail when I explain how to calculate IQ. So next important concept is factors influencing intelligence. This question can be asked for 5 or 10 marks. We all differ in our intelligence, right? So why there is difference? Some have exceptionally high intelligence, some are low. Why the difference? What are the reasons? Is it due to the heredity? Heredity is a genetic code what we inherit from our parents. Or is it because the environment in which we live? So what are these factors? Let us try to understand these concepts. The first factor, we have two factors here, biological and socio-cultural factors. Under biological factors, we have 3 points: heredity, glands, and nutrition. Okay, first one is heredity. According to the study done by Plowman in 1997, he says parents pass on their genes to their children, and if there is any defect in this gene, it will have a negative effect on the growth of intelligence. Second point is glands. Glands play a very important role in overall functioning of our body. They are located in different parts of the body. They produce hormones, and these are necessary for our overall functioning of the body. We have different glands like pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, sex gland, adrenal gland. So pituitary gland is called master gland. You all have studied in this in the last year. Why it is called master gland? You all know, because it controls all other glands. If there is any deficiency in pituitary gland, that is malfunctioning of pituitary gland, also will have a negative effect on the growth of intelligence. Another important gland is thyroid gland. Thyroid gland plays a very important role in the development of intelligence. If there is undersecretion or oversecretion of the hormone produced by thyroid gland, the hormone is thyroxine, it will have a negative effect on the growth of intelligence. For example, undersecretion of thyroxine will have a problem in children, that is, they will get cretinism. Cretinism is a kind of mental retardation. We will move on to the next point, nutrition. Proteins, minerals, carbohydrates, vitamins, all these things are necessary in our daily food intake. This will have a positive effect on the growth of intelligence. Malnutrition over a period of time will lead to a negative effect. That is shown by the study conducted by Sigmund in 1995. Let's move on to the next factor, socio-cultural factor. Socio-cultural factors involves the environment in which we live. environment in which we grow, our family conditions, the educational level of our parents, their economic conditions, religion, culture, beliefs, our siblings, all these people play a very important role in influencing our intelligence. Stimulating environment and enriching environment need to be given to the children. It will have a positive effect. If there is environmental deprivation, then it will have an adverse effect. So from all these points, we can conclude that both heredity and environment play a very important role in influencing intelligence. They play a very important role in the growth of intelligence. Okay, let us move on to the next concept, history of intelligence testing. How the intelligence test came into existence. The first intelligence test was developed by Binet and Simon in 1905. Alfred Binet, he was a French psychologist. The French government requested Binet to develop a scale to identify students, to screen students who were not making any progress in normal classroom teaching. There were some students had some difficulty in normal classroom. They had some learning difficulty. So the French government wanted to identify such students to give them remedial classes. For this purpose, Binet along with Simon was his colleague. Binet along with his colleague Simon developed the first intelligence scale in 1905. There were many defects in the first test developed. This test was revised and reconstructed many times. Later, Goddard, an American psychologist, translated this test into English language. The first test was in French language. Later on, another person, Terman, from Stanford University, he standardized this test using American participants, and after that this test came to be known as Stanford Binet test of intelligence. Today this test has been developed and standardized to Indian population, and this test is called as Binet-Kamath test. Wechsler, American psychology, he also developed intelligence scale for adults and for children. One test is Wechsler's Adult Intelligence Scale, this is for adults. Another one is Wechsler's Intelligence Scale for children. These are widely used today. Next, let us understand the concept of mental age. The concept of mental age was given by Alfred Binet, who was a French psychologist, you all know. So what is this mental age? Mental age is a measure of person's intellectual development compared to people of his age group. It is your person's intellectual development compared to his age group. For example, if a 10-year boy is able to complete the task or complete the items meant for 12 years of age, then his MA, that is mental age, will be 12. If he is able to answer the items meant for 8 years children, then his mental age is 8. Next, the concept of IQ is given by William Stern. He was a German psychologist. He gave this concept in 1912. Okay. Now let us see the formula to calculate IQ and how to calculate IQ. So IQ is intelligent quotient is equal to MA, mental age, divided by CA, chronological age, that is your actual age, into 100. Mental age you get from intelligence test. When you are taking intelligence test, you will get a score, that is your mental age. Chronological age is your biological age, that is your actual age into 100. So let's see how to calculate. So for example, if a boy's mental age is 14 and his actual age, his age is 10, what is the IQ? This type of questions can be asked for 2 marks. So you write the formula, IQ is equal to MA divided by CA into 100. So here mental age is given, that is 14, divided by the person's age. The boy is 10-year-old. So you write 10 into 100. So you cancel 0 here. The remaining answer is 140. So his IQ is 140. The IQ 140 and above is genius. The person has superior intelligence, or he is intellectually gifted, or you can call him genius. The next another problem will see, the person's CA is 20. His actual age, 20-year-old girl has an IQ of has a MA, mental age is 16. What is her IQ? The person is 20-year-old. As I said, if the actual age is more than 16, we take it as 16 itself. This is from Terman study, because intelligence reaches its peak at the age of 16. So you write the formula again. So mental age is 16. So chronological age, that is age is 20 here, but we will not write 20, we will take it as 16 itself. So 16 divided by 16 into 100. Cancel this. So remaining answer is 100. So IQ is 100. The person has average intelligence. Okay. Let's see another problem. Here chronological age is given, that is 10 years. The person is 10-year-old. His IQ is 120 and you have to find out MA. MA is mental age. This is another type of problem. So here you have to find out mental age. IQ is given. So write the formula. IQ is 120 is equal to mental age. Mental age is, we do not know, divided by CA. Actual age of the person is 10 years. So you write 10 year into 100. So you have to do cross multiplication. So 100 MA this side is equal to 120 into 100. So next step, MA is equal to 120 into 10 divided by this 100 comes here, goes here. So it is 100 here. Then you cancel this 0 to this and this to this. The remaining answer is 12. So mental age is 12. So this is another type of question which can be asked for 2 marks. Let us move on to the next concept, distribution of intelligence. How IQ is distributed in general population. We all differ in our intelligence, right? We do not have same type of intelligence. Some are exceptionally good, some are low, some have average intelligence, some are above average, some are below average. So when the IQ test is given to general population and the IQs are computed, it can be plotted on a graph, and this graph appears as a bell-shaped curve. It looks like a bell shape, and this bell-shaped curve is called normal probability curve. Normal probability curve, NPC. Okay, so majority of the population come under this category. They belong to IQ range of 90 to 109. Around 50% of the population belong to this category. Average IQ is 100. So very few people have IQ 130 and above, and they are called very superior. The percentage is very low, that is 2.2%. Another 2.2% have IQ below 70, and they are termed as mentally retarded or mentally challenged. So intelligence tests help us to identify people at extremes. So for example, if a person has exceptionally good intelligence, he needs to be given extra educational programs uh, beyond normal teaching, so that he can excel in his potential. If the person is mentally retarded, then special education can be given to them, so that we have many special schools, because these children cannot cope up with normal teaching, normal classroom teaching. So special education is required. So IQ, intelligence tests will help us to identify these extremes and help them out. The classification of IQ range and intelligence level, you can see above 130 is very superior, 120 to 130 superior, 110 to 119 above average, that's 50% of the population have this category. Next, above average, 110 to 119 is above average, 90 to 109 is average. So 50% of the population is having average intelligence. 80 to 89 below average. 70 to 79 borderline, and below 70 are mentally retarded or mentally challenged. Next, let us move on to the next topic, special abilities. Intelligence tests help us to identify special abilities in individuals. Special abilities are extraordinary abilities which people have. There are three types of special abilities: intellectual gifted, special aptitude, and creative. Now let us see what is intellectual giftedness. They are also called as genius. Their IQ is 140 and above. Who is genius? Can be asked for 1 mark. Their IQ is 140 and above. Many scientists and artists may have this type of intelligence, who have excelled in their field, like Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci. These have been predicted to have this type of intelligence, 140 and above. Intellectually gifted individuals, they need to be given extra educational programs so that they can excel in their academics. Beyond classroom teaching, they need to be given extra educational programs. Okay, next special ability is special aptitude. Aptitude is an inborn potential of a person which can be enhanced by training. Aptitude tests help us to predict whether the person is able to do well after training. For example, if the person has high mechanical aptitude, then that person, if given appropriate training, can do well as mechanical engineer. Similarly, if a person has high language aptitude, he can be trained to become a good writer. There are many aptitude tests developed by psychologists. One such test which is widely used is differential aptitude test, which was developed in America in 1947. This test was revised many times, and this test has been developed and standardized for Indian population by J.M. Oja. Okay, this test consists of 8 subtests which measures various areas like verbal reasoning, spatial ability, clerical aptitude, mechanical aptitude, and so on. Let us move on to the next special ability, that is creativity. Creativity is the ability to produce new ideas or new things which are useful. You produce something new and unique, and it should be useful. Creativity can be seen in different fields like art, science, technology, dance, music, and so on. Example, the work of William Shakespeare, Kalidasa, we remember still today because of their creative style. Factors influencing creativity. There are various factors which influence or which affect creativity. Training, motivation, commitment, reward, incentive, and choices. Next, let us see the relationship between creativity and intelligence. Is there any relationship? I'll give you an example of there's one student, student A, who gets high grades in her class, but rarely comes up with new ideas. She gets high grades, has very good grasping ability, but rarely comes up with ideas. There's one more student, student B, who has average intelligence, but always come up with new ideas. So who is intelligent here? The first, student A, can be termed as intelligent and student B as creative. According to the study conducted by Terman, creative individuals are intelligent, but highly intelligent people may not be creative, because most of the intelligent test measures convergent thinking. Convergent thinking is arriving at one solution. There's only one solution to a problem. For example, 2, 4, 6, what is the next number? Here it is 8. You cannot have any other number there. So there is only one solution to a problem. So intelligence tests measure convergent thinking. But in creativity, we measure divergent thinking. You can come up with as many responses as possible. For example, the use of paper cups. You can come up with many responses. So creativity measures divergent thinking. There are many tests to measure creativity. One such test is Guilford Divergent Production Test. Next is creativity and age. Is there any relationship between creativity and age? According to the study done by Simoton, he says as people age, creativity reduces. But many oppose this view because most of the scientists and artists, they have been creative throughout their life. So there is no definite conclusion yet regarding the relationship between creativity and age. This question can also be asked for 5 marks. What is creativity? Explain creativity.